We are live, and no, I did not forget to hit the go live button this time. We were just getting set up. I thought I could put a picture behind us. I had a cool picture from the episode, but nonetheless, I've quit fooling with that. I'll figure it out later, and we are live. I see the comments section has been lighting up. Sorry, we're a few minutes late. I'm Justin, and that handsome devil that you can't see with me is JP.
I'm here. I'm here on a Sunday night.
You're here and you're clear. That audio coming through good. If you are with us and you can now hear us and we are actually live, please put something in the comments and let me know that you're here. No, we did not fall asleep during the episode. Speaking of the episode, JP, let's just jump right into it, man. What did you think?
All right, pal. Well, before I really get into the episode, I would first like to say that I'm pissed off to no end at the AMC app. I again had to watch it on my phone, which was no picnic, but I still got it watched.
So, are you saying if someone's thinking about downloading the app to maybe rethink it?
Well, I mean, just like syncing it up with my TV, and maybe it's not the app, maybe it's on my phone's end, the TV's end. I don't know, but yeah, it was, and like when the phone goes to screensaver, the sync doesn't stay on the TV. It just like stops, and you have to like reactivate the telephone, and I don't know, man. I'm sure it's probably just my ineptitude with anything technical that's the problem, but yeah, it had me some kind of pissed off, but nonetheless, I've paid for the AMC Premium. I now have access to the shows, however early they put them out. So anyway, all that aside, the episode was it was an episode. It was The Walking Dead.
That doesn't, I mean, so, we get Daryl's first ever love story. Like, I mean, we didn't see it, but I'm assuming the way she was sitting in front of that fire and reaching for him, there was probably some sexy time involved.
I would hope so, and I'm kind of wondering if maybe the reason they didn't actually show it was like COVID rule stuff. They can't have like an intimate scene or something. I don't know. I don't know.
That definitely could be it. But it was Daryl's first love episode, not his first love interest per se. There was definitely some kind of like love brewing with Connie, but this one we actually get a straight on love story. And before we really dive into it, man, can I just say him throwing the fish at her door and walking away was freaking hilarious. Like that was like some Dwight Schrute type flirting. Like I told my girlfriend, I was like, I wonder if this is like a Schrute tradition, and like if the male throws the fish at the door of the female he's interested in, and if she returns the fish head to him, then she is also interested, and then like the next scene she beams him with the with the fish.
Yeah,
I can catch my own fish.
I know, what a waste of God. What that was a big old fish. It looked like maybe a striped bass, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I thought it was pretty funny. When he did that, but then like when they were having that conversation where he was going to leave again, I thought like straight up she was going to be like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, well, Daryl ain't got no booty in the last 12 years. Did you really think he was going to pull out? You know what I mean?
Like with that, when they began that flash forward and it said 10 months later and she was being all kind of, itchy bitchy towards him, I was like, oh man, she totally like had a miscarriage or something. It's 10 months later, but no, she just didn't want him to go out and have that boys time, which I think we've all had to deal with that at one time or another.
Oh yeah, and I'm seeing JP that you could be a little louder, so just look on the side of your iRig and just kind of turn that volume knob up a little bit. If it has a volume knob. I haven't messed with that thing in so long. Still there? Did we lose Jay? Did you turn it off?
Hey, can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, yeah, I guess I turned the dial in the wrong direction.
I noticed.
Okay, well, I am back.
All right, there you go. Hopefully, Ashley, let us know if that is a little better, or if JP is JP. Where's JP's volume at? Is it good? Is it too loud? Too low? What you think?
Yeah. The
Victoria B says that's better.
Oh, is that Vixie Bixie talking at us?
Well, we've got Vixie Bixie on here. I thought maybe that is Victoria.
It might be.
Oh yeah, it is Vixie Bixie.
Oh, sweet. Greetings to our favorite Kiwi. So many great listeners out there in New Zealand.
Oh, JP, here's a comment coming from someone we haven't heard from in a long time.
Oh, shit. Samburbia Pictures.
It's Sanburbia Pictures. Hope you guys are doing well. Haven't been watching The Walking Dead since Rick's departure, but I'm out here supporting good vibes, man. We appreciate it, Sanburbia. We miss you. We'll never forget the amazing short film you made for us when you won that knife.
God, is that still out there, that short film?
Sanburbia, if that's still out there, could you inbox me a link to that or something? Because that was phenomenal.
Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But, all right, so this episode, our buddy Seth Scott messaged me and said this was basically Beth and Daryl 2.0. And I got to kind of agree, but I'm not going to lie. I was more interested in this episode than I was the Daryl Beth episodes.
Yeah. I get it was definitely a slow burn. And I don't know. It was weird, man. Like, kind of going through it, you feel for Daryl. You know, he just can't catch a break, and I don't want to like fast forward too much. But by the end of the episode, I'm just kind of like, man, Daryl's. I'm starting to think he's kind of a dick again.
Oh, dude, yo, when he was talking to Carol at the end, I was like, man, Daryl's a dick.
He's an asshole, dude. Like I said, I don't want to like fast forward too much, but the Connie situation that Carol is kind of responsible for, that was an accident. What he did with Rick, that was prior planning. Like, that was all him. And with Leah, he left her of his own accord. Again, you know, Daryl's decisions, conscious decisions, not just random accidents, you know, is what caused it. So I don't know, man. Daryl's being a real asshole.
I agree 100%. And you bring up a great point. So it's like Carol. Okay. Carol was a grieving mother.
Right.
You know, and Henry was basically her son, and his head was lobbed off his body and put onto a spike for everyone to see. Yeah. It stands to reason, as annoying as it did get, but that Carol is out for blood. And Carol was only doing what everyone was trying to do, which was to kill Alpha. She just got a little reckless, but nonetheless, she was doing what all roads were going to have to lead to anyways. And then, like you said, when Rick got in his situation, that was straight up pre-planning from Daryl and Maggie.
Yeah, Daryl. Yeah.
Distract Rick. Now, no, he didn't intend on Rick to fall on a spike and all of that, but the point remains, he is the reason it all happened. So, you know, pot meet kettle. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Daryl engineered that situation. Carol essentially just fell into a trap, you know?
Oh, yeah. Vixie Bixie says she thinks that's why Daryl is beating himself up. He's taking out his moods on other people. But it's like, it's sad because like Carol's literally only out there because Carol has shown many times throughout this show and recently how much she loves Daryl, how much she just cares for him as a friend, how much she wants to just check on him. She doesn't want to lose him. She wants him to be okay. And that's how you reward someone who just gives a damn about you. You straight up rip their heart out.
Yeah, man. And I was really waiting for that moment in this episode where Daryl just kind of comes to grips and he was like, I'm out here looking for Rick because it's my fault he's dead. You know, like I wanted that moment of just clarity and just, you know, him getting that off his chest. But we never really got that.
No, what we got was him being and I mean, I don't defend Carol very often. And like here I am defending Carol. You know what I mean? It was kind of messed up. But if nothing else, I try to find the positive and say that if you didn't get anything else from tonight's episode, at least you got a dog origin story.
Yeah, dude. Now that was pretty nice. You know.
Now, what do you think? What do you think Leah is? I mean, clearly we're gonna see her again.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm wondering if they're going to tie it into what's the new group? The Reapers. They're the new threat.
It could be. She could end up at the Commonwealth.
Yeah, Commonwealth could be CRM stuff. I feel like it's going to be more in like the immediate, like what's going on right now, which leads me to believe it's probably going to be the Reapers. But you know, it's hard to say. But I definitely think we will see her but in this little mini season we've got here.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I hope we at least get some closure on where she went and everything. And it's kind of making me really sad, even though we knew it was coming, right? That you keep seeing these little previews where it's like the end begins summer of 2021. And it's like The Walking Dead's final season. I'm like, just stop. Don't. I don't need to hear that right now.
Yeah, dude. The only thing that gets me through is knowing that Victor Strand will be back on AMC in the immediate future.
April the 11th, I believe, is what I saw. Yeah, and we'll be doing. I imagine this, at least the Sundays that you're off, we'll be doing the same deal with that. I would love to start doing the immediately after live streams.
Yeah, dude, I love doing our recaps like immediately after the episode when feasible.
Oh yeah, when it's fresh on your head.
Absolutely.
We got Maddie Williams saying all of these 6 episodes will probably be like The Road to Terminus, 2 people centric. Only because of COVID and less people filming. Next week is Father Gabriel and Aaron. Yeah, and like I said, I'm going easy on it, because these are bonus episodes that they did not have to do.
Right.
Because we still, even though we had to wait forever for the finale, I mean, we still got a full season from them. So I'm just happy. And maybe it's because I know it's coming to an end, so I'm just trying to soak up every bit of Walking Dead that I can get. But so I'm probably going a little bit easier on these episodes than I would a regular season episode, just because I think it's, super awesome that they are throwing these to us.
Yeah, man, I do appreciate the fact that these are essentially fan service, just, on the, what we hope is kind of the tail end of the pandemic and everything. So, I mean, I appreciate that as well.
Ashley O'Neill says, I do think the Commonwealth episode and Here's Negan episode will be pretty good. Oh, yeah, I am now. But keep in mind, though, that the Here's Negan episode, I am ready for it, man. I think it's going to be awesome. But I mean, it is going to be like probably mostly a flashback episode, with like just Negan and Lucille. So, I mean, it's probably not going to be the most exciting in the sense of like action and story development. But with that said, I'm super excited to see that actually on the show.
Yeah, same here, man. Like the graphic novel or whatever you want to call it was pretty good. So, yeah, I'm stoked to see Negan doing his thing. The origin of Negan.
Yeah, I love the Here's Negan comic, or I thought graphic novel. I thought that was freaking sweet.
Yeah,
I just hope they go the whole route, like I hope it's not just him and Lucy. I want them to show us, because in the comic, they really did a good job of like, by the end of it, you understood why Negan is the way he is in the present. Right. Like it makes perfect sense from, just a well-written, it just made a lot of sense. So I hope that they do that in the show as well.
Yeah, dude. I mean, to be honest, that could almost be like a 6-episode miniseries just in and of itself. Here's Negan. I mean, it really could. I think there's enough story there to tell.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, dude. I'd love the first episode to just be Negan in like everyday life, and then that first episode ends with like the zombie outbreak occurring, and the next episode is him kind of having to put his wife down and dealing with the world ending and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, that's what I want to see. Jonas disagrees, says he'd rather have well put together episodes than a rushed feeling episode like this Daryl centric one. I got a feeling that a lot of these are going to feel that way. I just hope we get more of like the Reapers. I'm wondering if we're going to have to wait until season 11 to kind of get more on them. I'll tell you something else I didn't like. And this is nitpicky. This is very nitpicky.
Yeah.
I did not like the Daryl recap at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, I don't think we necessarily needed that.
That's just not typical of The Walking Dead. Like, we don't have most of the time. I'm not saying we haven't had recaps before, but typically it's after a break, or it's, like Daryl talking to the audience and recapping. I was not a big fan of that. It's just not the style of the show.
Oh man, I missed that because, like I said, I was watching on the app, and I must have missed that a little bit.
Oh yeah, at the very beginning, Daryl is recapping like everything that's happened, or what? Well, not everything, but he's recapping kind of like where we are.
Okay, yeah, it was like a voiceover, kind of like what they did last episode with Judith, right?
Yes,
Okay, I did
yes.
see that. Okay, yeah, that was a little out of
And
place. I agree.
that's nitpicky, but it just doesn't fit with the style of the show. Like
Uh-huh.
I don't know. It was one of those things. Like out the gate, I was like, oh, I don't like that. That's not The Walking Dead doesn't do that typically.
Yeah, Daryl should not be breaking that fourth wall.
No, I mean you're not Deadpool, Daryl. All right, stay in your lane.
Yeah, you could have been Wolverine, but I think those were all just bullshit rumors. But
Vixie
anyway.
Bixie says that I think they did that on the last episode too. See, I didn't even notice that on the last one, so we'll have to really pay attention on next week's episode to see if like Aaron or Father G recaps.
Yeah. The last episode was Judith kind of recapping what went down with the Whisperers and how.
Oh,
Negan
that
got her mom.
yeah. No, not Judith. It was Lydia.
Was it Lydia?
Well, you said taking out her mom, right?
Oh, geez, yeah. What? It was a young female. That much I remember.
I thought it was Lydia. Yeah, you're right. I do remember that now that you mention it. But yeah, I don't like the character recaps, which you're probably right, Vixie. They're probably going to do that each episode. I don't know. It's just not. I don't know. It feels too. I don't know. It just feel. I don't know. It's something they did on shows when I was growing up, but I don't. I don't know. Jonas says, "Do you two feel like The Walking Dead has lost its touch? It hasn't felt the same since the conclusion of All Out War." I mean, I think we called it a long, long time ago that there's no way the show would ever be the same without Rick. And I think it all, because up until Rick's death, I mean, I liked season 9.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I liked, what they did coming out of Rick's last season. And I definitely feel like it picked up some steam in the last two seasons. There's been some episodes that have been better than others, but I mean, I didn't really like the way that they left this past season before this, 6 episode stint. But
oh yeah, yeah.
I definitely think the Whisper War was better than All Out War, though. I will go out on a limb and say that.
Oh, absolutely. I agree 100%. We've said it a million times, and I'll say it a million more times. All Out War was too drug out. That should have been one season.
Yeah.
Like one season.
Yeah, man. I mean, other than just missing some of your favorite characters like Rick and Maggie and stuff, I mean, I do feel like there's been a lot of really solid episodes in the last 2 seasons.
And, I think it's some familiarity. I mean, like with all of these characters gone, and I mean, The Walking Dead's always killed characters, but I mean, you've really got a lot of your heavy hitters were gone. Rick was gone. Maggie was gone. And Michonne was gone. And it's just like all these Carl was gone. Like all of these, I think a lot of it has to do with too. You feel like you're amongst a group of strangers.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that, I mean, these characters didn't leave us just to benefit the story. They left us because the actors were like, yeah, this ship's kind of going down. Let's take it on some water. We're going to move on. So, I mean, that didn't help either,
And I mean, Andrew Lincoln has said he wished he didn't leave the show, and I can't help but agree. What's bad is, man, I was trying to cut him some slack, but you had straight up called it out back when he was leaving. You said it was not cool of him, and he should have stuck it out for the fans.
Yeah, man, and it really took me back to when I was a kid and David Duchovny left the X-Files. He was Mulder and he wanted to be, pursue his movie career. And like I said, I won't go all into that. But yeah, I hate when actors do that. Like you built your name, you made your career on this show. Give us, these last couple seasons, just stick it out. But that's just kind of the norm in television.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, so to answer the question, I mean, to an extent, but I don't know if it's so much that it's lost its touch, or it's just lost, or if it's just because it's lost the characters that made us love the show.
Yeah, Jonas, like I definitely think the as far as like the directing and the storytelling, I think that actually kind of improved after All Out War. But I mean, it is hard to be quite as invested when you lose, these central characters you've had since day one. So
I mean, like if Rick, Carl, Michonne, if all of these characters were still in it, but the story was going in a similar direction, I wonder how we would feel then. You know what I mean?
Right. No, all things considered, man, I think Angela King, taking the reins with season 9. Am I right on that?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think she's done a pretty good job, man. I mean, like I said,
yeah.
there's been some hits and misses. I was not crazy about the, if you want to call it the season finale of number 10 before we got these episodes. That I definitely think that could have been better. But all things considered, man, I was drawn more into the Whisperer War than All Out War.
No, the Whisperer War, I really enjoyed that. I thought Alpha was awesome. Like
Oh, yeah.
Alpha and Beta. I thought they were great from page to screen.
Yeah, man. I mean,
You know,
give me like a fight during All Out War that was as badass as Daryl versus Beta. You know what I'm
you
saying?
didn't have one. Even Negan versus Rick, which they really kind of had like two times they got to fight, which was when Negan firebombs Alexandria in that
Mhm.
house, and then when Rick rams his vehicle, and then they go through the building. But
Right. Now
the
that
Rick,
was pretty badass.
well, and the ramming was, but like when Rick goes to his house and Negan's there waiting for him, I thought that
Mhm.
fight scene was kind of weak.
That wasn't so great. Negan was like the flaming bat and stuff. Now that episode I remember really
Oh yeah,
enjoying.
no, that one. I just remember Rick like sitting up there watching the cars
Yeah.
go by, and then like taking off, and then when he just comes up that alley and bam, that was awesome.
That was badass. Yeah. And Simon versus Negan, that wasn't a bad fight.
No, it wasn't. I still feel like Simon would, and I mean, like in real life, I feel like Stephen Ogg would beat the hell out of Jeffrey Dean Morgan. But,
Yeah, dude, yeah, most
but
definitely.
you can't. It ain't the size of the dog in the fight. But anyways, back to this episode. So, what did you think of the new character Leah? Did you like her? Do you want to see more of her? Do you just feel like she was like, she was there?
I mean, I think given the episode, I don't know, man. I mean, it was one of those episodes where it was hard to be like super duper just on the edge of your seat drawn in. I don't think she did a bad job with the material she was given. I definitely think she was a good fit for Daryl. I mean, I dare say it felt a little bit more natural with her than with him and Connie. You know what I'm saying?
Do you feel like when we first saw her, it should have been that Gretchen Wilson song? Because I'm a redneck woman, I ain't know. You think that could have been like her theme song?
Yeah, well, God, dude. At first, I was like, "Oh shit, this is the trucker lady from Fear the Walking Dead. This is
No,
not going to be great."
this is my nightmare. Trucker lady goes over to The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ!
right. And far from a great episode. Yeah.
We've wanted a crossover for so long. Way to put the shittiest character on that entire show as your
Yeah.
crossover.
Yeah. One thing I can say, if you want to see her in her best light, watch her on a bottomless brunch at Coleman's. That's the only time you really, really like her.
I actually was hanging out with JP earlier, and he showed me an episode of that, and it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's a really good show, man. I
Yeah,
actually finished that episode up once I got home.
it was.
Good stuff.
It was Alicia, and it was the
Kim
girl that plays
Dickens.
Alicia, Kim Dickens, and then a guy from Stranger Things. And it was
Yeah,
actually really good.
yeah. I think he's a comic. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He's one of those people that's never made their mark, so to speak. But yeah, great comedic actor.
Oh yeah,
Whose
David
name I
O'Donnell.
forget.
I don't remember it either. David O'Donnell says Leah served her purpose, but next.
Yeah, I think we all kind of feel that way.
Oh, absolutely. Jonas again saying Leah pulled the old choose them or me. I personally hate women or even characters that are like that. You know, it's funny, Jonas, because Seth and I were talking during the episode, and same thing. You know, Seth's like, damn, that's screwed up of her to make. And it is screwed up to give him a choice like that. I mean, why can't you take your lazy ass and encourage him to go to Alexandria where you can all be together? I mean, he comes from a place where there's lots of people.
Yeah, man, you know a girl's a keeper when she will actually go with you to find your undead friend who's just walking around. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, she should have just went out there with him, you know?
And that's the thing too. It was funny because I was joking, but when he's like, "I lost my brother," and she's like, whatever, and I joked with my girlfriend. I was like, he's gonna be like Rick, even though I really thought when she was talking about like who her, crucial person that she lost was You know, it was her son, but technically it was her nephew, I believe, or something to that effect. But it's like when she was like, "Who was yours?" and he was like, "My brother." I thought it was really going to be his brother, like Merle, but I was joking and I was like, "Rick, I miss Rick. He was also my lover." And then he was like, you know, "It was an accident. We never found his body." I was like, "Oh shit, he is talking about Rick." I thought, you know, I thought Merle dying was a big point for Daryl's character and his development, but
no, he's probably like, that's 7 seasons ago. Ain't nobody worried about Merle.
Oh, Merle who? I replaced him with Rick.
Yeah.
Sanburbia Pictures says The Walking Dead's mistake was to progressively stray away from Rick's character when it was his story. Imagine killing off Mr. White before Breaking Bad ended and continued for 3 or 4 seasons. Sanburbia, I 100% agree with you in that regard, because JP and I have said many times, like, because it's like Robert Kirkman back in the day used to be like, "This isn't Rick's story." No, this is Rick's story. Like, you know, this isn't Game of Thrones where you know, I mean, you did introduce Robert Kirkman's writing is top tier. He's a great writer, and the Walking Dead comic is still one of the best comics, if not the best I've ever read. But, you know, it's like this show, we started with Rick. We followed Rick. Every decision Rick made steered the show different directions. This is 100% the Rick Grimes story. You can't just be like, "Well, no, it's everybody." No, this is Rick's story, and these are all great supporting characters, but this is the Rick Grimes show.
Yeah, dude, totally agree.
When they try to stray away from that to be like, "No, look at all these other great characters. They're main characters too." Like, because I remember we said it back during, we weren't podcasting, but when you and I were talking about the show in season 5, as they were, you know, on their way to Terminus, you know, I remember me and you talking after our Jays for Days podcast, and I was like, you know, I'm liking it, but whenever we have these episodes that Rick's not in, I always find myself thinking, okay, yeah, this is cool, but what's Rick doing?
Yeah, dude. And I mean, so many shows have just tried and failed with that. I mean, remember when like Eric Foreman left that 70s show, Andy Griffith hung it up with the Andy Griffith show. Then they tried doing like Mayberry RFD. I mean, you can't, I mean, it's a betrayal to the viewers, quite frankly.
Well, we lost the very thing that made us fall in love with the show.
Yeah.
You know, so no, I definitely agree. I mean, I don't think it's the same. Now, call me crazy, but I do think if Negan were shifted more into a front and center role, it won't be the same, but I think it would be about the best the show could be without Rick.
Yeah, dude. If they were gonna just like end it and want to do like a spinoff that was Negan centric, I think that would be dynamite.
Absolutely. And like these Rick Grimes movies, man, I really want them to be good. I just am worried it's taking too long.
Yeah, man, I'm like you. I'm hoping for the best, and I will just take what comes. You know, The Walking Dead is not always the best at delivering on big promises, but we'll see.
Yeah. Vixie Bixie asks, "Is your cat okay?" Why would your cat not be? You had to take one to the vet or something, didn't you?
Did you? She might have heard there was some cat scratch action in the background. I wasn't sure if you heard it, but maybe she heard it. And
I didn't catch it.
Yeah, we've introduced a new cat into the fold, and it's it's still, the integration's still a little rocky.
How many cats do you have now?
I've lost count.
I mean, like, he's not kidding. JP has more cats in his house than any other human being that I know.
No
like
rats,
personally,
though.
not saying that someone out there doesn't own more. I'm just saying that I know personally. Our buddy Aaron was actually the one who had the most. I think he had 4 or 5, and you left him a while back.
Yeah, I'm at least 2 ahead of him now.
Oh, but yeah, hopefully your cat's okay. Jonas Billy says, "Did anybody get a castaway with Daryl when he lost his map? All he needed was a volleyball by his side." Yeah, and he probably would have named it Rick.
Probably so.
"Look, Rick, I've made fire."
Yeah.
Oh, but no, I mean, this episode was, I'm not going to say it was bad, but I won't say it was good.
I mean,
I'm glad I had Walking Dead tonight. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, given the circumstances, I guess maybe they did the best with what they had to work with, which kind of feels like a cop out, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like maybe it could have been. I mean, it definitely could have been better, but
Well, someone a few comments ago had mentioned that it probably has to do with like COVID restrictions when they filmed this. Couldn't probably have but so many actors on screen at one time, and yada yada yada. So I mean, it makes perfect sense why we're getting episodes featuring fewer characters when you look at it like that.
Yeah, man, I think that's definitely a big part of it. It just, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I wish that. I don't know. I wish that Rick never left the show.
Yeah, dude. I wish they didn't kill Carl and Rick was still there. And yeah, I think things would be a lot better.
But my takeaway from this episode is that I mean it's several things that people have wanted for a while. Daryl finally got laid. We think.
Yeah, we hope. We think. We hope.
We know Dog's origin now.
Yes, and Daryl wasn't the unimaginative person to call the dog, which is cool.
Yeah, and they say that Appalachian American tells us that they said Dog's real name was Carl tonight on The Talking Dead. So I'm guessing that's his real life name.
Oh, the dog actor's name. Okay.
Yes. Hopefully he doesn't suffer the same fate as Carl on the show and get killed off in some stupid way.
Yeah, dog. Don't be following anyone into the woods trying. Yeah.
I've got a question for a lot of listeners out there. So do you guys think that the tipping, I mean, that really when the show started to tip was once they killed Carl? Because I really feel like when I trace it back, yes, at that point I was like, man, All Out War's dragging out, but there were still lots of moments from it that I very much enjoyed. But I feel like if I look back to when the show started dipping in quality, it was after Carl left. It just kind of started a domino effect. Carl left, then Andrew Lincoln said, he was ready to go because, of course he said it's because he wanted to spend time with his family and stuff. But he also said in an interview that like as playing Rick, Rick, when he was, steering the character, that like that was his motivation, was his son. Originally it was his son and his wife, and then it was his son, his wife, and his daughter. And like, Judith was never a huge part, like of the thing. Like Carl was his driving force. And when they took Carl out, Andrew Lincoln said he just found it hard to play Rick because he felt, I think he used the analogy of like, it was like a plane with two engines. And when Lori died, one engine went out. And then when Carl died, the second engine went out. He just didn't see how you could fly the plane after that.
Yeah, man. I mean, in reality, I really just think that Andrew Lincoln's was like just the quality is slipping and slipping and slipping. And I think if he had have known that, hey, once Angela Kane takes over, the storytelling's actually going to improve and the show's going to get better, I think maybe he wouldn't have jumped ship like he did. And
I think and again, I think you're right. And I think that ties into the Carl thing. I think like from his standpoint, when he saw that they killed off Carl, I think at that point he just lost faith in the show's direction. You know what I mean? He was like, they're making terrible decisions. This isn't going to be good. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, dude. When in actuality, when they handed a significant amount of control to someone else, it got better. And it sucks that he, didn't see that coming.
Victoria says, yes, but I honestly don't care that Carl died. And I think we've talked about that before, that it wasn't that we were so much mad that Carl died. It was the way that he died and just how pointless it seemed.
Yeah, dude. And I'm all for like a random Tyrese kind of death. Like I'm not opposed to that because I think it's very like real worldish. But yeah, when you do it like that, it just pisses you off. It's like, I forget the doctor's name because I really just hate him as a character. Sadiq. Yeah, Sadiq. I'm just like, geez, Louise, man, just, oh God, this is awful.
Happened to the Carl, when he was like, I'm doing, and I know that Carl's mom died and that supposedly influenced his decision, but like Sadiq saying, hey, I want to do this for my mom because she thinks it frees their souls. What happened to like the season 2 Carl that told Carol, heaven's not real. And if you believe in heaven, you're an idiot.
Right.
Like, where was that Carl to be like, they don't have souls stuck in them. And if you think they do, you're an idiot.
Yeah, dude. He should have just like pistol whipped him in the back of the head and been like, "You're a doctor. You're coming back with me." Because my dad kind of, well, the last doctor, we don't talk about that much because, yeah, my dad kind of murdered him to, cram his wife.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. He Rick had it out, which, I mean, that doctor was being abusive, but
He was a jerk, but I still would have like locked him up and used him when needed as opposed to just murdering him,
Oh yeah, no, I still feel like he didn't, even if he wasn't abusive, Rick would have made it look like he was.
Oh, absolutely, dude. He wanted to get in Jesse's pants, something awful, and who can blame him? But a doctor, when you break your arm and die because no one's there to properly treat it, you'll wish you maybe had kept the doctor around.
Yeah, I've said for the longest time, man, like in my zombie apocalypse situation, if you're the doctor in our group, you are getting some VIP treatment, man. I'm telling you, you are going to be kept up in your own secure room. You can have a security detail everywhere you go. Your ass is not going on any runs.
Oh,
like,
for sure, man.
You're being treated the way we would treat a president, because it is. Having a doctor in your community would be a rare thing. It would be invaluable,
Yeah, man. I mean, a doctor or a dentist, dude. If you're a doctor, a dentist, you can smash my wife if you want. Just, be there when I get a really bad boo-boo. That's all I'm asking.
Interesting topic of conversation coming in from Jonas Belilli. The Walking Dead is missing strong male characters. Zeke is no longer a king. Daryl's enemy is Carol. Eugene is crying. Gabe, Jerry, and Aaron are the only ones who are dealing with real grief and character shifts. Do you think it's just because Andrew Lincoln was so much man that when he left, it just sucked all the man right out of the show?
That's a very interesting point Jonas makes. I mean, Jonas, are you basically saying they're on this kind of like, SJW kick where they just want like strong female leads? Is that where you're going with this? Because I think it's a very interesting point to make.
Oh yeah, that is a very good. Listeners, weigh in on that. I want to know what other people think. I hadn't really thought of it like that, but Jonas, as always, very insightful. And I mean, you make a good point, because they're really pushing Maggie to be this strong, fearless leader. And then they're also, they had Michonne, but she's gone now. She was like a beast.
Yeah, man. And it's not to be forgotten that there have always been very strong female leads in The Walking Dead. So, we're definitely not taking away from, characters that have been there before.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. David O'Donnell weighing in, saying the writers need to find a way to push Aaron to the front as a leader. The rest of the cast are all beta males at best. Yeah, I could. I mean, we know Daryl can be an alpha male.
Daryl's an alpha, but he's too much of a loner to really like lead the pack,
Right.
Like I don't think he'll ever be a leader per se. I mean, Negan, he's an alpha, most definitely.
Well, and Daryl is a alpha, but he's but he's really not. He's like a right hand man. Like, he has all the traits of an alpha, but Daryl is not the take charge, be the leader of the pack kind of person. He's a beast and he's good at everything he does, but he needs direction. You know what I mean? Like, he needs someone to kind of guide him and to kind of lead him and point him in the right direction, at least for the most of the show, as far as, and I mean that as far as his role in the group. Now, if he's off by himself, he's a total alpha male. He can do his own thing, but if he's trying to co-survive with other people, he needs to be led.
He does. He's a great like first officer, but he doesn't necessarily need to be captain of the ship, as he's shown plenty of times.
And David, I do agree about the Aaron thing, man. I love Aaron. I think Aaron is a great character. I think that given the right writing and put into the right situations, Aaron could easily be, one of the forefront leaders of this group. No, I've always had a lot of faith in Aaron, and I'm kind of I really like Ross Marquand though. Like I really think he's an awesome actor. He seems like an awesome dude behind the scenes. Like so, I'm a little biased just because I really like Ross Marquand, but yeah, I definitely think Aaron, if given the chance, could definitely be, not the next Rick Grimes, but he could be a leader. I think most could come to love if they don't already. I mean, when you look at him, he's consistently been a great part of the group. I mean, he's been invaluable for a lot of what they've been through. It's just he needs a little bit more screen time or to be shown in that light.
Yeah, dude, I think Aaron could definitely move up and play a bigger part.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I mean, I was just saying, in his storyline, I mean, that's what he did. Before the world fell, he was like a globe trotting, and I hate using the word globe, but I mean, he was out there doing that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Then Ice Group says, "What if Rick wakes up from a dream and Carl never died?" You know what? As long as the whole show wasn't a coma, if like Rick just woke up next episode and it was like all that happened between him leaving and now was just a dream, as dumb and as big of a cop out as that would be, I'd be okay with it if it could set things back right.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would be into. I think you mentioned this maybe a week or two ago. Like, I mean, we do Walking Dead what ifs, but let them make that like an actual series.
Oh yeah, I would love to have like a Walking Dead what if series. Like, what if what if Negan was able to convert Daryl?
Yeah, man. I mean, the MCU's doing it. Why can't The Walking Dead?
Absolutely. Let's see. Vixie says it does feel like it. If done properly, it wouldn't be a bad thing. Vixie, what do you refresh my memory? What are you referring to the whole what David O'Donnell was saying about the beta male deal or Aaron or speaking of David also says Daryl is a classic beta. And it's like, yeah, I agree in the sense of, like we said, I think Daryl on his own, he's an alpha. He'll mess you up, stay away from his stuff. I mean, Daryl is fine on his own, but when you put him in a group, he's just not the pack leader. It's just not how he's hardwired.
Nah, he just doesn't have that group mentality.
Now, Disney Rocks, longtime listener. I've just never exactly known how to pronounce your name. But anyways, as he says, as slow as this episode was, I heard the worst of the 6 will be 5. Okay, well, which one is that? And why is it going to be the worst? Please elaborate a little bit on that. No spoilers, but if why do you think that's going to be the worst?
Yeah, what have we got left so far? We got the Commonwealth episode, the Ezekiel and Aaron episode. No, not Aaron and who was
Father Gabriel. Father Gabriel.
Yeah, that's right.
So we've been through 2. We've got 4 left. We've got Father Gabriel and Aaron. We got the Commonwealth, and we got Negan. We're missing one in there. I can't remember
which one. Is it going to be another Maggie-ish kind of episode?
I mean, if it comes back to the Reapers thing, I'd be interested to learn more about them.
Yeah, same here.
Aaron is the last voice of reason and strong moral leader. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I have no problem. Would not be upset at all if we found out they were going to start moving Aaron to more of a main, like one of the main character roles. Like, I'd be perfectly cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely a little bit more out for blood after Jesus died. But I mean, I think, once kind of things have settled and cooler heads prevail, yeah, I definitely think Aaron's suited for like a main lead role on the show.
And I mean, Ross Marquand is, I'm telling you, just give him a chance. His acting is top notch. He could easily make us fall in love with him.
Oh, he's incredible.
Would you like to see him and Victor Strand? Would you like to see that be a crossover and those two get together?
I mean, you bring Victor Strand into anything, and I'll be happy. And
I just figured you'd be jealous that he was going to be with Aaron in this scenario.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little apprehensive to answer that. But I mean, I guess the best thing I can do is live vicariously through Aaron, and that's it.
True that. Beaver says that's the Carol Daryl one, right? I mean, I thought this was the Carol Daryl one. Are we getting 2 Carol Daryl episodes?
Ooh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't
Love,
know if
I
I'm
was,
down
I
for
was,
that.
I was just kind of like waiting. I was thinking it, and you were saying it, just kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
another Carol Daryl episode, awesome.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was not like going into this like, oh man, this is the episode I've been waiting for. This is gonna be awesome. I was just kind of like, well, let's see what they do with this. Maybe it'll be all right. And it was all right, you know.
Yeah,
But
I really didn't hate this episode as much as like if you described it to me,
mhm.
I would think that, you know, I would think that I wouldn't like it. And I mean, this isn't, I like last week's better and certainly not a high point of The Walking Dead, but I didn't hate it as bad as I think some other folks did.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think the worst thing for me was just Daryl being so cunty, and yeah, I think that was pretty much it. I mean, there's got to come a time where he's just like, dude, like you're looking for a needle in a haystack. Either admit that you just can't cope with, interacting with the people that also suffered this loss, or, just move on. I don't know what I'm trying to say,
Daryl
man.
flip flops, man. Daryl is like, we're family. I love you
Yeah.
guys. And then he's like, fuck you, Carol.
Well,
You're
it's
the
just
reason
like,
every bad thing's ever happened.
yeah, dude. Like I was thinking in my head, like, if you and I were in this situation and you died, what would you prefer me do? Just wander around looking for you in a just hopeless quest, or like be there to make sure your family's okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, did that never cross Daryl's mind?
I mean, if you're asking me, you better fucking search for me until you find me.
Right? Yeah. If a bridge blows up.
How is this a question? If a bridge blows up and your boy goes flying off of it, I don't expect you, JP, to stop until you find my body.
And I'm probably not the ideal candidate to look after a wife and children. But yeah, I mean,
You know what? No, I know how you are with don't stay away from my girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh, I will
you-
use her grief as leverage. You're right.
You stay away from her.
Yeah.
Beaverus is giving us a description here. Episode 1021. Diverged. Daryl and Carol come to a fork in the road and head their separate ways, each going into their own type of survival mode. The easiest of challenges becomes harder. Will their individual's journey be the tipping point needed to mend their friendship, or is the distance between them permanent? Considering AMC's already told us that they're having a show together, I'm going to guess that it is the first option there.
Yeah, and that makes sense because this did kind of seem like a to be continued kind of thing.
Yeah, man, I'm not going to lie. Damn. I mean, again, no disrespect to Norman Reedus or Melissa McBride or Daryl or Carol, because I love them all. They're all a big part of this, but I don't want another Daryl Carol episode. I mean,
not in and of itself.
I mean, can we and why couldn't they just film all of these different story arcs, right? And then just because we had said we praised the show somewhere around like the last half of season, back half of season 9, maybe it was season 10. But we were saying that we really were digging how they were telling multiple stories at once versus, having to always focus in. Like, why couldn't they have just I know even with COVID restrictions, like have filmed these episodes, like each set of characters' journeys, with the exception of maybe Negan's, and then like interlace them to show us different things happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it seems like it would. Yeah.
But I don't know, man. With Jonas again, with how this episode played out, I'm not excited for the rest of the episodes, nor the DC spinoff. Wait, the Daryl Carol spinoff. I was like, wait, The Walking Dead's going into the DC universe?
Now that would get my attention.
Like, he's going to be fighting zombies, and all of a sudden, like, Batman just comes out from behind a tree and starts, like, throwing his batarangs at him, and he's like, I'm Batman.
It would be cool to see, like, a Last Night on Earth kind of Batman for those of, for anybody who read that comic. But
Jonas asks, good question, too. What do we think that the show needs to bounce back? Man, that is a damn good question. What does the show? I mean, I think at the end of the day, it needs Rick Grimes back, but
I mean, the Commonwealth story arc is a solid story. They just need to figure out how to execute that properly. I mean, they've got material.
The Commonwealth is great. What I feel like people who watch the show that have never read the comic are not going to like about it, though, is it is way more. It's way more of like how do I want to say this? Like a modern political drama.
Yeah, it's a little bit more like House of Cards.
House of Cards, West Wing,
Sons of
stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not going to be as balls to the wall unless they change it significantly. So I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know if people are going to like, but I mean, I love the Commonwealth arc. It's got some heart-stopping moments, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Sanburbia Pictures says Aaron has a great presence, but the show is still Rick's story. Copying the Game of Thrones playbook failed since the pilot didn't set up several protagonists to follow throughout. Only Rick. Exactly, Sanburbia. That's what we were saying just a few minutes ago. That like, I think I said those exact words, didn't I, JP? Something to the effect of like, you didn't start it out like Game of Thrones.
Y'all are definitely on the same page. That's
Pretty
sure.
sure if we go back, Sanburbia, you and I are definitely thinking exactly alike. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Like Game of Thrones started its tail off by showing you all of these different characters and just you never zeroed in on just one person. I mean, the show starts with Rick Grimes killing a child zombie. And then it goes back in time and shows us how Rick Grimes ends up in a coma. And then the first episode, or at least, the whole first episode is nobody but Rick Grimes.
Yeah, Rick is no Ned Stark, you know.
I mean, and then the second episode, still primarily Rick, but then he met Glenn. And then, they slowly started introducing, but I think that, I don't know. I think that I don't think the show's lost again, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being optimistic. Like I'm not like 100. I'm not really like crazy disappointed in the show. I mean, I definitely don't think it was the show it was, but it's also getting ready to go into its 11th season. Mm-hmm. That in and of itself is a huge feat.
Well, I mean, dude, like with me, like I've not been super duper impressed with these last 2 episodes, but the last 2 seasons, I think have been more hit than miss. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think Angela King's tenure as showrunner, I think there's been some really good storytelling. And I mean, yeah, there have been some lulls and some disappointments, but I sure as hell like her last 2 seasons as opposed to Gimple's last 2 seasons as showrunner. Her first 2 seasons, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Who we got now?
Disney Rock says facts. I hope the show can pull off the Commonwealth story arc. Can't wait to see who they cast for Lance Hornsby and Punk Sebastian. I want to see if we're going to get an adult Herschel, like Maggie's child Herschel.
Right, and I don't remember Lance. Well, maybe I do kind of remember. I think he was the one who kind of like reached out to Michonne.
Who like led them in.
Yeah, I do kind of. Yeah, now I do kind of remember.
Because a lot of people were speculating that Lance in the comic was going to end up being Negan's brother because the faces kind of resembled each other. But, that never came to be, and quite honestly would have been a very odd thing.
Well, in the comic, spoiler alert, blah 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 blah. I mean, you get Michonne's daughter at the Commonwealth, so maybe they'll swap out her daughter for Negan's brother.
Yeah.
Because I mean, at this point, it would be kind of pointless to have Melody there,
Oh yeah. Jonas says, "Why do I feel like Daryl will only die by the hands of Carol, and Carol will be killed by Daryl, similar to how Daryl tussled with Alpha, but they both die in a heartbreaking and slow fashion." I don't want to spoil it, but there is a certain death in the comics, in the Commonwealth story arc that we've questioned for a while. Like, who is that going to be in the show? Especially, and there's 2 big deaths and both involve Rick. So we're like, who's going to fill that role? And you know what? The way they're leading up to it with Daryl talking about how Carol never knows how to quit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, I know they're getting a spinoff show, so I don't, unless maybe that's set in the past or I don't know, but I feel like it would make sense with the way they're setting the story up that like Daryl ends up having to put Carol down. Like Carol just goes rabid in the Commonwealth, and Daryl realizes that this is a chance for peace and safety, and he ends up popping Carol.
Yeah, we've speculated on that for sure, but in typical Walking Dead fashion, they've kind of killed any suspense by announcing this big spin-off show. And I mean,
That's one of AMC's biggest, like, just some of the dumbest things they do is like, why do you tell us when someone's leaving? Why do you tell us when someone's going to survive? Like, why build up anticipation for the Carol and Daryl spinoff show? I mean, it's what, years from debuting. Like, we don't need to know this early. Keep us in suspense.
yeah, for real. But that's AMC. That's how they roll, and it is going to be kind of lame if they set like the Daryl and Carol show like in those lost years. I mean, how many stories can you really tell between All Out War and the Whisperer War? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, well, they had like 6 years. So, I mean, I agree with you 100%. But I mean, realistically, you could fit a lot in a 6-year gap.
Yeah, but I mean, with the episode tonight, they pretty much said so. Yeah, Daryl was kind of wandering around for a while. He talked to Carol a little bit, find a love interest, wander around a little. I mean, they've kind of told us, yeah, not a whole lot happened besides him falling in love and still being salty with Carol, and chucking fish at cabins. I mean,
not just falling in love, getting the booty.
Let's hope. Let's hope. I hope it wasn't just like a snuggle, kind of like a premature coming kind of thing. I think we've all experienced that.
Probably she went to cuddling him. He was like, I'm sorry. Every time I cuddle somebody, I can't help but to think of Rick.
Yeah, right.
And she was like, damn it, Daryl, this is the 4th time we've tried this, and you always bring up Rick. He's my brother. I know he's your brother, Daryl. God, you tell me every day I love him. Jesus Christ, Daryl, go sleep on the couch. Beaver says, I'll admit it doesn't have the same luster after like 10 years, but what does? I still think the show is solid. Or I think the show is still solid. Beaverus and I think mostly JP can agree. Like, I think we're all us three, we're on the same wavelength. Like, we know the show's not what it was, but it's been 10 years.
No, dude, I think season 9 was the best season they'd had for a couple of years. So, I mean, I think it actually improved, in the last couple seasons.
Ashley O'Neill says, this is a good point. Whoever got through The World Beyond can definitely watch these 6 extra episodes. Amen, Ashley. Amen, man. You're spot on with that.
That's a feat I couldn't accomplish. I could not get through the World Beyond.
That show sucks.
Like I told you, I had cable and scheduling issues, but the truth is, I just did not want to watch it.
I don't think it's like, it's funny because as good or bad as these 6 episodes are going to be next Sunday, I am still going to be anxiously sitting on my couch at like 8:50, ready to switch it over to AMC, like just ready for the new episode. Like, I had to make myself watch The World Beyond just so that we could podcast about it.
It was such a Jesus Christ, it was such a chore.
It's because it sucks.
Yeah, like, it was not a good show in any sense of the word.
I mean, it's like if the Disney Channel was like, hey, we're going to pick up our own spinoff to The Walking Dead and make it for kids. It's horrible.
Yeah,
like,
dude, it really felt like the worst thing like the CW could put out. It felt like a CW
That's a
show.
better example. Yeah. It feels like a CW version of The Walking Dead. That's even better.
Yeah, man. And don't get me wrong, the CW's put out some good stuff, but it's also put out some really crappy stuff, and that definitely would have fit right in with it.
Was that a cat again?
Now that was a cat, yeah.
Jesus, I thought it was the girl you have tied up in your basement.
Oh no, she's doing just fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I gave her like a bowl of oatmeal earlier, but no, these are felines.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Let's see. David O'Donnell says, I think it will be Aaron killing Negan if it's the death that. Yeah, David, but Aaron killing Negan just wouldn't have the same impact. Now, Daryl killing Negan would have some, you know what I mean? Like, what was so great about that scene was kind of the history between those two characters. Aaron and Negan certainly have history, no doubt. And I mean, but I think if I was writing, it would have to be someone like Daryl killing Negan. But it's like it kind of comes around full circle. Daryl wanted to kill him out of vengeance, and now he has to regrettably kill him. That type deal.
Yeah, man, I hope that's not what they do. I really want to see Negan still involved in the Walking Dead universe after this the main series ends. I really,
I
really want
know.
that.
Like Robert Kirkman won't give us a Negan spinoff series yet, which I'm very grateful for. Negan Lives. It was out of nowhere. It was a really cool thing that he did because all profits, it was a free shipment, so stores got to sell it and keep everything they made off of it. So that
Yep.
was in the midst of the COVID crisis. So there's a hats off to Robert Kirkman. I thought I just can't express how awesome that is. But with that said, man, we want a Negan comic spinoff series. Make it happen. Hopefully,
man.
hopefully the show will do that for us.
I hope so too. I really do.
Speaking of hoping, Ashley O'Neill says, I'm hoping that season 2 of World Beyond will be better. Ashley, I think we all are. I really want to find like that one person. There's got to be like one person out there who and not just being a hipster, like they legitimately love the World Beyond. And I want to interview that person.
Well, dude, I mean, I read a lot of like mainstream reviews that actually gave it props. I mean, a lot of critics actually, more or less liked the series. And I'm just like, if there was ever a definition for fake news, that would be it.
Well, but they
Who
weren't
was paying you.
They weren't looking at the story. All they were like, I feel like in today's time, and this is not at all getting political, but what I mean is like everybody's so amped to jump on that righteous train that like I feel like the people that are writing these articles that say they love it, they're just on there and they're like, okay, they're trying to write strong females, check. There's a gay character, check. Like they're just checking off all the boxes. And it's like The Walking Dead has that too. The Walking Dead has some very strong female leads, several gay characters who we love. It's like but with The Walking Dead it feels 10 times more natural because it's not painfully obvious they're going for that, whereas in the I don't know, I really just would love to interview someone who actually likes The World Beyond, not to ridicule them, just for them to really explain to me what there is to like about that show.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you were saying, like Fear the Walking Dead has all the elements that you mentioned, but they weren't shy about shitting on that series.
Oh yeah.
So
David O'Donnell says, I know what you mean, but I think Daryl won't be there. Going back to talking about that big death in the Commonwealth. And yeah, I can see Daryl, because I mean, we know Daryl doesn't really like people or showers or civilization. Yes. So I'm sure Daryl's going to see like the Commonwealth and just like hiss at the gates and run off into the woods looking for Rick still. He's going to like sniff and be like, they smell clean.
Yeah.
There's lots of people. There's no Rick. Rick, I miss you, brother. And he's just going to like run off into the woods and do his thing.
Yeah. Hopefully not get frostbite this time.
Yeah, that would be the preferred way. Let's see. Beaver has said it had overwhelmingly bad reviews, but the first episode had mixed reviews, to be fair. The first episode, it's so sad because I was trying to be optimistic. I mean, yes, the first episode was boring as shit and so hard to even stay. I mean, you got to think too. I get up, which as a lot of us do, but I get up really early in the morning. So by the time World Beyond's coming on, I'm trying to stay awake. And it was a struggle to stay awake, but I kept trying to be optimistic. I was like, well, yeah, but they really just, from a narrative standpoint, I think what they're doing is they're just really trying to show you this cushy life they have, this boring, trivial, same thing over and over, kind of like it was supposed to be boring. And then the next episode, it's just going to thrust them into this wild world they're not ready for. And I was so wrong. It just continued. They have the cushiest zombie apocalypse life I've ever seen, even on the road. Like they couldn't, most of them, like none of these characters could die if they wanted to.
Right. Yeah. Like Coleman Domingo said, he asked Kim Dickens, like, one thing every Walking Dead fan wants to know is, where did you get your endless supply of skinny jeans? And I think that definitely applies to them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Jonas Billiley saying, I'm confused. Are Maggie and her people homeless? If so, I'm not liking Maggie coming back and feeling like she is top shit. Everybody was rebuilding and she passed them by. Like, dude, help them. Yeah, I agree, Jonas. I am excited for Maggie to be back. But with that said, it's like, nah, you left for like 6 freaking years. You don't get to roll up in here and start calling shots again. Like you ain't Princess Maggie anymore. You left everybody during a very, which to her credit, the Whisperer War wasn't happening, but she left them and some terrible schnit happened while she was gone.
Yep.
That she was not there to help. I mean, Tara, Enid were both very close with Maggie, and they died, and they may not have had Maggie have been there. Maggie might have handled the Whisperers totally differently.
Yeah, her and a few other characters could definitely take a good serve in a humble pie. Her and Daryl, for sure.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
What about Herschel killing Negan? Now, man, I get what you're getting at, Thin Ice Group, and that actually would just be perfect full circle justice. But in this scenario, that wouldn't really fit. Like in the comic, the part of the comic we're talking about, it wouldn't fit that situation.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that Herschel Jr. and Judith will probably like fall in love or something. So who knows? I don't know.
Maybe Ezekiel will kill Aaron for that scene. No. If Ezekiel, I love King Ezekiel and I love Corey Payton. I really wish he had more screen time because I think King Ezekiel is freaking awesome and he's the head of the Barn of Pleasures. But if he kills Aaron, me and King Ezekiel can come unbenefited.
Yeah, they'd have to do a lot of story building for that to really kind of feel organic.
Also from Disney Rocks, he's agreeing with us because you and I both said that out of the entire cast of World Beyond, Huck was really the only interesting character. And I agree, Disney. I mean, it's still like looking at a pile of shit and saying that turd is prettier than the other turds. I mean, but with that said, she is the most interesting part of that show.
Yeah, if they were going to pull something out, I could see her crossing over into something and being more entertaining. But just in that, the storyline they've built, man, it's just is no redeeming. I don't know.
I mean, well, it's kind of like false advertising in a way. I mean, we were basically told like, hey, this show exists to connect, to create a bridge between the Rick movie and the main show. So we're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then like out the window. I mean, yeah, we're getting a little bit of the CRM, but I mean, you can honestly tell the writers really didn't even want to put that shit in there. They just wanted to focus on these plucky group of teenagers and their misadventures through the Walking Dead universe. And then they're like, oh yeah, we have to do something with the CRM. And they're throwing us as little as they can.
Yeah, man, they really need to like reach out to the Russo brothers or something as far as like building an interconnected, universe of stories.
Yeah, I mean it's bad, and I agree with Ashley O'Neil. He said, he'll watch World Beyond because it's part of the Walking Dead universe, even if it's bad. And yes, I'm with you. I will do the same because I have suffered through some terrible seasons or terrible parts of Fear the Walking Dead. And, I'm not going to lose hope on the World Beyond just yet, JP, because there have been times where both of us thought Fear the Walking Dead couldn't get more boring. And then here we come out with this season, which was minus maybe one episode, one of the best ever.
Yeah, but the big difference is Fear has Victor Strand, whereas
hey, there were times where you did not like it, and Victor Strand was still a part of it.
Oh no, it was garbage there for a good long while, but at the end of the day, I at least got to see Strand. So they don't have like an anchor with that show,
Yeah, absolutely. As we come to a close here, if you got any questions, get them in because we are close to wrapping this thing up because I don't know about JP, but my ass has to get up at around 4:30 and that's going to get here super early. Yeah. Jonas says, also, I didn't like tonight's episode because it didn't advance the story forward. At least with Maggie's episode, it had elements that had moving parts. What do you think? I agree, Jonas, unless they're going to use Leah or this whole situation, and I mean in some big way, and we know that there's going to be a continuation of this episode. So at the moment, does it really move anything forward? No, but maybe it's a part of something that's going to eventually. I mean, I agree with you 100% as far as that goes. I'm just trying to be optimistic and think, well, maybe the next episode the next Carol Daryl episode will actually advance it somewhere.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I don't know. Expectations are kind of low, but I'm like yourself, man. I'm glad we've got some Walking Dead to watch on Sunday nights. I'm glad we get to do our when we do get to do our recaps right after the episode. I think that's a beautiful thing.
And hey, we get to do another. I mean, I'm gonna make sure that I will be live every Sunday. After each episode of this and Fear the Walking Dead, and the Sunday nights where JP is off of work and can join me, he will definitely be here. If he's not, I'll start having different guests in, but we will definitely have Podcasting Dead live content. But JP, I think, is going to end up making it to quite a few more than he thought originally. I mean, like next Sunday.
Right. We're going to watch it together, which I'm super stoked about.
I just this time I don't want to sit in your lap. Like the last time you did this, it was great and everything was perfect, except that made it really awkward. I felt uncomfortable, and I'm just telling you ahead of time, I'm not going down that route again.
Look, do you want me to come or not? And when I say come, you can interpret that any way you like. And
there's the problem.
But no, man, I love these live ones, man. I definitely, Seth should stream on in, man. I know he's a Walking Dead alum.
Yeah, well, I definitely, when we get to episode 6, I want to set it up and get get Seth, get our pal, who am I thinking? Well, I've got my brain gets, you got to remember how late it is. My brain gets overloaded. I just thought of 4 different people, and they all bombarded my head at one time and just made this really weird name that I can't pronounce. But, I would love to get Seth or Derek Patterson or Dan Ashtown or Vixie Bixie, or Jonas Balili, just get different guests on the 6th one, have them come in for 5 minutes, talk about stuff, and then try a different guest just to kind of
I know Eternal Wreck down there in Texas. I know he's watching.
Absolutely.
I mean, he might not be watching the podcast right now, but I know he's still keeping up with the show.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Jonas leaving us some love in the comments. Jonas, thank you for listening. It's great to have the listeners that we do. And Disney Rock says that we are funny AF. Do you think that means you guys are funny, all funny?
I think it means it's
Disney. Disney would not use as fuck. That's just not a Disney thing.
Yeah, I can't come up with anything. I suck at improv.
You two are funny as farts. That's what it stands for, because everybody loves a fart.
Do they do that? Like I was telling you, man, this shoplifter I helped run out my store earlier. He was in the bathroom for 30 minutes. We confront him at the entrance of the store. And I was like, dude, you were in there for 30 minutes. He's like, I was taking a shit. I'm like, I went in there right after you, and it did not smell like shit. So either you literally are the one person whose shit does not stink, or you're lying. So
that's how hardcore JP is at his anti-shoplifting position. He will come to the bathroom and try to see if he can smell your shit. And if he does not smell shit, you may be shoplifting. And then you're going to have to face off against Cowboy JP.
No, straight up, man. I'm taking no prisoners, baby.
So, if you're going to steal from JP's grocery store, maybe bring some fart spray with you.
You better be smart, and you better be agile, because I'm coming at you, and I'm coming at you hard. In many different senses of the word hard.
Ah, there it is. Yeah. There it is. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
I get erect pursuing shoplifters. What can I say?
Oh, dear God. Dear God.
Gets me off.
Oh, but nonetheless, we will have a I mean, I don't know. Should we? We'll have a podcast at
We'll
some.
have another one this week. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, we usually do a Monday, separate cast. But to be honest with you, I just don't. I mean, we've kind of covered everything, and there wasn't really as much to cover in this one. So I think we kind of covered all our bases on this one. But we'll definitely have some Patreon cast, and that's another point. If you are not a patron, consider checking it out, because for just $1 a month, you can get 2 extra episodes a week. And of course, if you want to throw us $10-$20 a month, that really, really helps, because we actually were just discussing our finances today and equipment we're getting ready to order to complete our setups. So, but no, check that out. We're also getting ready to get into some tiered stuff. I think we're going to start doing the weekly WTFs, going to start having things like when I do the Leather Chairs and Whiskey podcast on YouTube, it's just going to be like an edited, condensed version that might be 10 to 20 minutes, whereas patrons will get the full, unedited, uncut, full-on thing. And that'll be like, I think, I don't know, a $5 tier or something. So check out our Patreon, and whether it's $1 or not, I think you'll enjoy it.
No, I think so too.
Let's see. Wait a minute, real quick before we go. Ashley O'Neill says, Justin, you have any 2 people you want, and JP gets Strand and a shoplifter who wins. Wait, what? you have
any 2 people?
And a shoplifter who, so it's, I get to pick any 2 people, and you get Strand and a shoplifter, and we're fighting to the death?
Was that the...
Okay, well, if that's the case, then you've got Strand. I'm gonna take Rick and Abraham. We'll stomp that ass.
Well, I mean, most of my shoplifters are crackheads, so I really don't think that would give me much of an advantage. Plus,
hey, crackheads feel no pain. The only problem you have to worry about is they'll feel no pain, but they might also steal from you.
Yeah, dude, I would kill them
during the fight,
long before we engaged in battle, just because I hate shoplifters. I think it should be back in the Old West, where you cut a finger off or brand their cheek or something.
Also, just got to throw this up there. Victoria B. Fixie Bixie, a.k.a. Jovi Gal, has been a patron forever, and she says that it is great. Definitely sign up. Hey, we appreciate it, Vixie, and we appreciate everybody for listening. We'll catch you back here. We'll catch you back here no later than Sunday for next week's live discussion, but we'll definitely catch you on the Patreon a couple times this week.
Oh, most definitely.
But in the meantime, hey, I'm Justin.
I'm JP.
And we are the Podcasting Dead. Everybody have a great night. Thank you so much for listening. Got to throw that little shout out right there up too. Yeah, the Appalachian American says, yes, get on that Patreon.
Yep, he's on there sometimes.
Jump on it. Jump on it. Sing that for me, JP.
I can't do it.
JP, you sing to me all the time. Sometimes you just call me and start singing, but then when I want you to do it on the podcast, you won't do it.
It's just not as intimate.
You and your intimacy issues.
I know.